ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Xbox the Box, an Xbox podcast. My name is Potato, and we have been invaded by the enemy, the PlayStation Nation themselves, the in PS We Trust hosts. Well, two of the three. I couldn't afford the king; he was a bit out of my budget, so I had to end up with the other two. It is Phil and Phil and Davey. Woo! Hello.
Oh, hello. You've got the bargain basement in PS We Trust. You haven't got the full trio.
No.
As you said, Spencer's a king now.
Yeah.
Very expensive to get on the show. So you've scraped the bottom of the barrel and you've got me and Davey for tonight. So we'll do our best.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate it. Yeah, so if you're wondering where Alice is, she is currently on holiday enjoying herself. So I hope you're having a good time, Alice. We will be fine. We're just going to talk about PlayStation and have a good time. So thanks for coming on to the show, guys. Is it we'll start the show off how we always started off with what we've been playing. So, Davey, have you been playing anything interesting on?
I have. Yeah, I have. So obviously I don't have an Xbox, so apologies for the Xbox faithful out there. I'm not going to be talking about any games that are available on it. Oh, actually, I will. I'll talk about one. But yeah, we played two things. We've been playing a lot of Street Fighter, a goddamn lot of Street Fighter. I'm inching towards Diamond rank. I'm so close. And as soon as I get about one game away, I got a mass losing streak and then have to regain it all again. So today I've had the day off and I thought, yeah, sitting down, Diamond time, baby. Am I any closer? No. The entire day I've spent, and I've gained about 40 points overall from where I started the day. Because I just can't go on a win streak. For some reason, I just cannot read people that just mash the pants, and I just can't understand it. So it's the curse of Platinum League. Yeah, I mean, you started playing that, didn't you, Lewis? Have you been playing much, or not really?
Not really, no. I played it a bit. I played it a little bit, and I enjoyed the story for a little bit of the story mode, and then I haven't really gone back to it. The problem I've got is that I have a PlayStation, I have Game Pass Ultimate on my Xbox, and I have a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass or whatever, but I don't have PS Plus because I don't really play multiplayer at all on my PlayStation. I basically just use it for single player games. So it's like, do I buy a month for PlayStation Plus just to play Street Fighter Online? Is a bit of like a maybe.
Bit of an ask.
Yeah, maybe. I'm still considering it because you do get good stuff on PS Plus every now and again as well. So it's like wait for a good month and then I'll get it and just get a load of free games.
I think you should dive in straight away, Lewis, because you're a dirty Ken main, aren't you?
I am.
And Ken is top tier as F on Street Fighter at the moment. So you should be diving in and owning everybody up. You would quickly rank up if you started to play Ken. It's an automatic win. I think you start at Diamond if you pick Ken, don't you, David?
You might as well, mate. You might as well. They don't seem to be any different from playing them in silver all the way up to like high plat and diamonds now. So yeah, I think they're exactly the same. Same game plan, just busted ass character. Absolutely busted.
Phil, are you still Blanca when you play it, or have you changed characters?
Well, if you've been listening to the podcast, and I'm sure you have, I've been talking about the gate upgrade that I've got on my stick. So I've got what's known as an octo gate on my fight stick. So it replaces the standard gate that you have when you buy the fight stick, and basically allows you to sort of execute, I suppose, charge moves a little bit more easier. So you can ride the gate while you're trying to input some of the different moves, and that lends itself, as I said, to the charge characters, which would be in this game Guile, it would be E-Honda, and it would be Blanca. But yes, I've been playing a little bit of a mixture of the three, but I have been really enjoying Blanca. He's a little bit different from what I remember back in the Street Fighter 4 days, definitely. He's got a lot more sauce, and it's something Davey keeps telling me every time we talk about Street Fighter. There's a lot of sauce with Blanca. There's a lot of cheap stuff that you have to learn, and the movement is crazy with it. And I'm getting old now. I kind of want to slow it down. So I'm probably going to end up siding with someone a little bit more dry, such as Guile, I think, because I can sit back, I can throw my sonic booms, and I can do the odd flash kick, right? And probably get a few wins that way. I think with Blanca, it's probably a young man's game these days, but I'm still in training at the moment. I haven't been, climbing the ranks as high as Davey just yet,
Yeah.
because I'm just easing myself into it. But what I really want is some locals. That's where I'm really going to have some fun. I cannot
hell
wait,
yeah.
because we've been talking about possibly going to the Wasteman Weeklies. So they operate, I believe, every Sunday in Bristol.
That's
So
right.
it's a local meetup for fighting game enthusiasts. So possibly we'll nip down there and have a few sets down there. But when you lads are free, definitely come over. And of course we got Evo this weekend. So that's a big fighting game tournament held in Las Vegas, and we'll be watching that definitely, and possibly having some sets on the side. So yeah, I'll break up to Blanca then, possibly revert to Guile. Who knows?
Yeah. You said sets on the side, right? You didn't say something. It sounded like you might have said something else, which I would also
Well-
not be. I wouldn't be against.
No, I certainly wouldn't. I just want to put it out there now. If anything, that would make me more interested to go.
Yeah.
If I was going to get a little bit on the side as well as playing Street Fighter, I
Yeah.
mean that's just the added. That's the sugar. That's the sugar on the top.
I
isn't
love it,
Or the
yeah.
cherry, if you will.
I mean, you guys really are like a big fighting game fans, aren't you? Like, I mean, that's where I met you was through Super Smash Brothers tournaments. I'm not very. I mean, I used to go to Smash Brothers tournaments just to socialize. I used to come last in pretty much every tournament I ever went to. I wasn't very good. I'm not the best when it comes to fighting games, but yeah, I would like to try and play a bit more Street Fighter for sure. It is, from what I've played, it's a lot of fun. So I mean, when we played it in EGX, because we all went to EGX to play it a bit early, we had a lot of fun with that. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely. What else have you been playing, Davey? Is it just Street Fighter? Because you said you're playing 2 games.
Yeah. So the other game we've been playing is Final Fantasy 16.
Ooh.
So I'm now probably about 10, 11 hours in, maybe a little bit more, and it's been a journey with this game. I think it starts off and it is very much just cutscene after cutscene after cutscene, tiny bit of walking, tiny bit of fighting, cutscene, and it's that for quite a few number of hours. But for whatever reason, even with like quite a slow start, it has grabbed me by the balls and it is not letting go. It is not like any Final Fantasy I've ever played. It's completely divorced from the rest of the series. The combat is just very Devil May Cry. You can feel it into every single thing. I'm now switching between different kind of abilities. So the main guy, Clive, has got the ability to like suck the dominant powers
Clive.
from other people. So he's got like a little bit of fire in him from the Phoenix, and then he's kind of sucked off the wind powers from this one bird. And now I can start chaining all this fire and this wind together and start doing these insane combos. It just feels great. And it's just mega Japanese. Like it's like as if they just took huge influence from Dragon Ball. Because all of a sudden you'll be in this conversation and they'll be like, Clive, you've pushed me too far this time. And he's like, I'm here for whatever you've got. And they're like, bit of witness the power. And they start charging up and shit, and I'm like, oh! I'm like loving it. So yeah, early days yet. I think it's probably going to be like a 50-odd hour game, I imagine, by the time I'm done with it. But so far, absolutely loving it.
Brilliant.
Can't wait for more.
Amazing. I've not played it. I'm not super into Final Fantasy. We have a Final Fantasy story come up in the news, which we can talk about in a minute. But yeah, it sounds interesting. I know we all like Kojima here. We're all a bit of Kojima fans. So you're saying there's a lot of talking and much gameplay. That sounds Kojima-esque. So maybe I will give it a try.
It is. It is.
Speaking of Kojima, I don't really know what that transition was, but Phil, what have you been playing?
Well, Lewis, I'm glad you asked. I haven't actually been playing a Kojima game, but I have been playing a game that is available to your Xbox audience. So here we go. This is an Xbox game review. I am, of course, playing it on PlayStation 5, but I have been playing The Expanse, a Telltale series.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Any good? Because I've heard about that, but I haven't really seen any reviews or anything. What do you think?
Well, I haven't played a Telltale game in quite a while, actually. So for me, it was quite an experience, really, diving in, because I'm a massive fan of The Expanse, the series. I really enjoyed the 6 series that we had of The Expanse, and I wanted more. And with this Expanse, the Telltale series, you do get some backstory into one of my favourite characters, which is Kamina Drummer. So she is a belter, and she leads a ship. And yeah, we're just finding out a little bit of background about how she came to be and how she kind of entered the series more than anything. Because with sci-fi, of course, they started The Expanse. They did the first three series, and Camila Drummer wasn't really a main character. She only really came into precedence when we got into the Amazon three series of The Expanse. So it kind of fills in the gap before Amazon took over, really. I've played the first episode. That came out on the 27th of July, and now I'm waiting for the second episode, 10th of August. So this is episodical. There's going to be, I believe, 5 episodes in all, released every 2 weeks. So yeah, can't get enough of this at the moment. Really, really enjoying it. I'm going to do another playthrough because, as you know, I'm sure you both played Telltale games in the past.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those multi-choice games, right? You sit back, you enjoy a little bit of story. There's a little bit of an exploration within the game. Pick up a couple of items here and there, but then you're faced with a choice. Do you cut the person's leg off, or do you not? Do you space this evil bad guy, or do you put him in the brig? It's all these questions that go through your mind. And to be honest, the first playthrough, I played it like a bitch. I was evil as fuck. Because Camila Drummer, that's how I like her. I liked her when she was really, really bitchy through the series. So that's how I played her. I played her how I wanted her to be within the series. So yeah, really, really enjoying it.
Would you have to? So is this one of those games you think you would have had to have watched The Expanse? Because I've never watched it. I mean, do you think you would be able to play it without knowing like these characters and all that going into it, or do you think you should really watch it all before you dip in?
I mean, this is definitely a love letter to fans like me of the series, but I think you could get enjoyment out of playing it. But with this love letter, there is nod after nod after nod to all the different things that we love in the series of The Expanse. They're dropping in quotes here and there, they're referencing characters, they're doing Expanse things. And they do space in a very unique way. It's unlike, I suppose, any other sci-fi, and the way they clamp to the floor with their boots and kind of the language they use is very obviously reminiscent of the show itself. So I think you could play it, but I think you're going to get a hell of a lot more enjoyment out of it if, like me, you've watched the 6 series and you can't get enough, and you might be reading the book that's just behind me as well.
Oh wow, yeah. So you're really into it. Then,
yeah, I'm a mega fan.
Fair. I mean, it's a bit early to tell because you said you've only done the first episode, but do you think it's gonna be like the Walking Dead series where it's like you must save Tom or John? It's like, oh, who do I save? And then the next episode, whoever you save just ends up dying anyway. And then you're back to the status quo and just back to where you started. I mean, obviously you can't really tell because you've not done episode 2 yet, I suppose. But does it feel like your choices will have consequences, or do you think it's still just going to be like an illusion of choice, which is what kind of The Walking Dead had?
Again, as you've said, yeah, I haven't played the second episode of this, but from what I can tell, the choice I made early doors did kind of affect the later choice, or what happened at the end of this episode, without giving too much away. And there was 2 major choices, but once you completed it, I think if you did sign in on your Telltale account, you basically got stats of all the other choices that other people made throughout the series. And I think all the way through, outside 2 of them, I went against the flow.
Love it.
I know I'm usually the outsider on the MPS We Trust podcast. You know, Dave and Spence, they tend to pick up what most people are saying and fly with it. I tend to be the one struggling against them. And that's why I enjoy you coming on the podcast, because normally you side with me a little bit.
Yeah.
But through this series, I was very much going against the grain and making those choices because I wanted her to be a bitch.
Wow. I'm gonna have to try
An evil
to
bitch.
I'll have to try and check this show out. So you say it's not like traditional sci-fi because I've not really watched The Expanse, but I like sci-fi, so I definitely try and give this a chance. I think I'll have a look into this definitely. Yeah. So is there anything else you've been playing, Phil? Or is that
That would be the main one that I've been playing outside little bits of Street Fighter, as I mentioned earlier, still practicing my Blanca. But that's the main game that I've been playing at the moment.
Right.
The other side game, which I've mentioned quite a lot on the MPS We Trust podcast, is a Necromunda game. So it's a Warhammer first-person shooter story game. that I'm running around and blasting people with bolters and throwing frag grenades at people. So enjoying that as well. But the Expanse is the main thing that I've been playing over the last week or so.
Oh, fair enough. Yes, I've been playing lots of things. I'm a bit hyperactive. I have a lot of different. I got a massive list of games I have been playing, but I'm just going to reduce it to 3 just to keep it so we can keep the podcast going. So the main one I've been playing is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and before you get too excited, it's this one. The good one.
The best one.
Yeah, excellent game, mate. Excellent.
Not the new one. So I messaged you about this the other day, didn't I, Davey? So I bought, it was on sale, Modern Warfare 2 for the new Modern Warfare 2. It was on sale for £35 on the Xbox store. I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. I'll dip my feet in. I'll give it a shot. Loaded it up, and it's like, okay, now you got to sign this so we can send you advertisements, sign this so we can have your soul, sign this so we can have your firstborn child, sign this, and it's like, okay, fine, yeah. Get into it, and it's like, now, do you want to spend £20 on the battle pass? No. Okay, do you want to buy this skin? And by that point, I was just like, you know what, forget this game, deleted it, and then uninstalled it, and got a refund from Xbox, because it is the worst. It is the worst free-to-play game I've ever played, and it's not free-to-play. You're paying 70 quid for a game that's like, give me your money, give me more money, give me more money. It's like, no, go away. I've just gave you £35. You don't get any more money from me that easily. Like, I play Halo Infinite a lot. Go on.
Have you played Exoprimal yet?
I haven't, no.
Because I think that's much of the same what you're talking about.
Well, with Exoprimal, I listened to you guys on the podcast. You all said it was shit, so I was like, I wouldn't even bother downloading it. I'll trust your judgment on this one, so I don't even bother downloading it. But yeah,
it's a fucking abomination, mate. Honest to God, you've done the right thing. I know you get it for free on Game Pass, but it's just a waste of your hard drive space. That so yeah, well done, good decision making.
Yeah, so basically, it's like Halo Infinite is a free to play game. And their microtransactions are nowhere near as egregious as the Call of Duty ones. And Call of Duty, you pay full price for, so it's just like, what's going on here? And then also, I've been playing this one because I was like, I got to the point where they're like, buy this gun. I'm like, fuck you, I'm just going to play Call of Duty properly in a game without microtransactions. I'm just going to play this Call of Duty because this Call of Duty is awesome. So I just, maybe I'm old. I just microtransactions get on my nerves, and I still don't like them, and I'm never gonna adjust to them.
No, it's fair enough. I mean, like, when we did our top 10 games of all time list, Modern Warfare 2, the one you're holding in your hand, made my top 10. It's a game that I hold in high regard. And you've just had all the servers fixed on the Xbox side, haven't you?
That's why
the
I'm
old
playing
games.
it. Yes, so excited.
So how are you finding it?
It's great, and I've also been playing a little bit of. Well, I got my whole collection here of 360 ones, so.
Nice.
Been playing a bit of Black Ops as well, so I was tempted to buy Black Ops 2, but I'm not sure if I should or not. It was only £11, but I'm like, it's probably going to come to Game Pass like next week, so the next few weeks, so I might just wait and play Black Ops 2 then, to be honest. And also Modern Warfare 2, like the new one, if I want to play it, I'm like, well, I've just spent £35 for it. They want more money from me. I'll get a refund because I know it'll come on Game Pass eventually. So if I really still want to play it, I'll wait for it to come on. And then I'll give you money. When I haven't given you money before, I'll give you money. But I'm not giving you 35 quid and an extra like 20 quid for a battle pass. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
I've got to admit something here. I'm a fucking sucker for this stuff.
I
right?
know.
I never buy. I think when the first season of COD comes out, for for what Modern Warfare 3, for example, when that comes out later on in the year, that first season when that launches like a few weeks after, I'll buy the battle pass, right? Because I know I'll be playing it so much that I'll complete the battle pass, get my money back, and it affords me to buy the next battle pass and kind of continue on. And that's generally the only purchases they get from me. It's like that first starter battle pass, and then I'll just complete them all from there. But they've done a team up with the boys.
Oh yes, I've seen that. Yeah,
I couldn't resist buying the Homelander skin at 16 quid for a skin and a shitload of guns. But am I happy running around as Homelander and then lasering people when I get an execution? Yes, I am.
That's fair.
But yeah, it works on me, mate. I'm a sucker for it.
I mean, I do fall for it when it comes to Halo. I've bought every single season pass for Halo, but the game is free, so I don't feel as bad buying the season passes. You know what I mean? But then Alice on the podcast, we've had arguments multiple times because she wants to buy £20 armor, the Dragonborn armor that's basically based on like Skyrim. It's like looks cool as hell, but not 20 quid worth. It's not worth 20 quid to wear that armor. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. It's not worth it. It's yeah. I feel really like I always say that Call of Duty 4 and Halo 3 are the peak of first-person shooters because that was just before microtransactions became a thing, and like microtransactions have ruined first-person shooters for me as far as I'm concerned. So I feel like
Well,
they were the peak.
Well, you did have a lot of like map packs back then. So
True,
like, whereas
true.
now the difference is right. Like with COD, every single season you get 3 new maps. You get raid. You get all this extra content you never would have had.
All right, yeah.
The only down, and that's all free. You just get that every single time you reboot. Okay. So you get 3 new maps. You get a new Warzone map. You get all this different stuff, new game modes, all that. But the downside is it's monetized at us when it comes to everything else. So it's kind of like it's given one hand, take with the other. Whereas back in the day on COD 4, COD Modern Warfare 2, those kind of things, you had 2 separate map packs that were DLC, if I remember right. I think they were like 10 or 12 quid back in the day. And what it meant was that, like for myself, I never bought the map packs. I was playing it like mad. And it split the community in half or into thirds because you'd have the community that had bought the maps would be playing all together. Everyone else would just be playing the basic vanilla maps. So they've improved it in one way, but then you've got a lot of stuff on the other side. So I don't think there's a right balance for it, really.
I remember, it's funny because when you saying that like triggered a memory of me that I remember being pissed off when they announced the map packs for Modern Warfare 2, actually, because like Modern Warfare is like, well, these map packs are really expensive, really overpriced. I'm not buying them. So, you know, I'm still getting outraged back then and still getting outraged now by the how much money they want from me. Activision, you greedy people. Oh well, it's like, but you know, if you like Call of Duty, you like buying battle passes and stuff. I'm not going to judge people for doing it. It's just not really. I just don't feel right doing it personally. So the other games I've been playing is Ghost of Tsushima, my favorite PlayStation game that should have won Game of the Year over The Last of Us Part 2. Just gonna keep saying that every time I bring it up. And I'm like, basically, Ghost of Tsushima 2 is like my most anticipated game, even though it hasn't been announced yet for PlayStation. Like, I want a Ghost of Tsushima 2 so bad. I really hope they do make one. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I was looking at my hard drive on it, and I looked at my save file. The last save I had was July 2022. So it was literally a year exactly since I played it last. I was like, oh, weird. It must be just this time of year just makes me want to play Ghost of Tsushima for some reason. I don't know why.
Are you gonna do the Isle of Icky expansion?
I will
That's
at some point.
Really
Yeah,
good story,
I want to. Yeah, I still haven't finished it. I need to. I just get distracted just walking around like challenging people to duels all the time. Just like get the sword ready, walk up to him. It's like yeah.
Oh, so you don't know? I was going to ask you what choice did you make at the end?
Oh, I haven't got that far yet. I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, you got to see it through, bro.
I want to. It is the game I play the most on my PlayStation. When I boot my PlayStation up once every 6 months, that's the game that I play on it. It's Ghost of Tsushima.
So
yeah, and also I can't wait for Spiderman, but we will cover that when we get to anticipated games as well. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, great game.
Possibly.
Yeah, possibly. Maybe not. Yeah.
Don't give it away, Lewis. Come on.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Play the game a little bit. You've got 2 PlayStation people on this podcast.
That's true.
You're hinting that we might mention Marvel Spider-Man 2 later on in the episode.
We might not.
I might not. I might not.
I don't know. Who knows? Is there any Resident Evil games coming out? Because I'm sure they would be the one top of your list if that was the case. So
we've already been spoiled from Mummy Capcom already by having Street Fighter. So
that's true.
If that was later in the year, yeah. So if those were later in the year, they probably would have, probably topped my list, to be honest.
Yeah.
But alas.
And the other game I've been playing, well, it's not even Xbox game. It's not even a PlayStation game. It is a Nintendo game. It is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on my Switch. Because I watched the Mario movie the other day, and I was in a Mario mood because, you know, Mario's just delightful and lovely and nice. And I felt dirty because I watched this on my PS5, so it was like watching a Mario movie on a PS5 just feels wrong. But Also, so right. I feel like I was breaking the law or something. Like it's like that can't be legal. Like, how can you do this?
Those Mario moments, they happen. They really
Yeah.
do. I was watching Twitch today in the background while I was working from my home office.
Yeah.
Hopefully, no one from work listens to this. But I did manage to glance up while I was, piling through my emails. And one of the streams I was watching was a guy called Pass the Plunger, and he does a lot of retro games on his stream. Very entertaining guy. And him at the moment, he's been streaming Mario Maker.
Oh,
Now, this is a game I've never actually played, but my God, some of those
fun.
levels look interesting.
oh,
I don't
Mario
know if
Maker's
that's
so
a game
fun.
either of you have spent any time in,
Yeah.
but that looks like both hell and heaven at the same time. Some of those levels, they're mind-blowing what people have come up with. And he was playing it, I think it was on the... what's the Switch with the tablet? I don't even know what it's called.
The Wii U.
I think I passed it by. Yeah, the Wii U.
Yeah, the Wii U.
Yeah,
The Wii U.
yeah.
I do
That's
own
the
it.
original one,
I think
yeah.
I owned Smash Brothers, and that's it. That's the only game I bought for it.
That's
and
the
then
only-
I moved on, right?
That's the only
It
game we
was a
played
Smash
for it.
console.
Yeah, that's the only game we
But
all
anyway,
played.
He was playing Mario Maker on that console, and what he was saying while I was listening on my lunch break, because of course I had the volume on at that point, he was saying that a lot of those missions they're being removed now. So unfortunately, you won't be able to play them soon. So if you are going to be spending any time playing Mario Maker, this is the time to be doing it because those missions are available. They'll soon be disappearing. So yeah, you get that Mario mood again, Lewis.
Yeah, for
Mario
sure.
Maker, let's do it.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Mario Maker 2 as well. That's on the Switch, the second one. Yeah, I love those games. Like if you told me as a kid that would be a game, I would lose my mind. Like that's my dream game as a child, because I used to love like making Mario levels and coming up with Mario levels in my head. Like I was obsessed. That's what made me want to do games design in university, was Mario. Like that was my main inspiration. You know, it was my gateway drug into the video game industry.
Did you ever have Mario Paint?
Yeah,
Back in the day?
yes, yeah.
Where you got a mouse for your Super Nintendo?
So
I remember
good.
being so crazily jealous over my friend in Caldecott who got this game, and I was like, "Oh, can I borrow it? Can I borrow it? Can I borrow it?" I remember borrowing it, and then it probably wasn't as good as the hype. It was literally a picture of Mario, and then you go click red, click,
Yeah.
skin color, skin black.
It's
was
literally
There
paint.
wasn't really that much creativity in it. But an early game that did have a lot of creativity, a Mario game, was Mario Music. There was one of those early doors as well. I think
Yeah.
Super Nintendo version of that. That
Mario
was
Music.
fun. That was a lot of fun. The first iteration of that. I think they did a later one. But anyway, we're getting into a Mario mood here, and this is an Xbox podcast.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, yeah. I'm an Xbox. I hosted an Xbox podcast with two PlayStation people. We're talking about Nintendo. Seems very confusing to the audience, but there you go. But yeah, Mario is. And I've also I've been playing a couple of other Mario games, but Mario Kart mainly because they've released the expansion pass. So every couple of months they've been releasing new maps, and I've not played them. So I've just been going back through all the new maps, all the new DLC. So it's just something fun to play through, and it's just chill. I mean, it's a bit too easy, but it's just a chill out game. Listen to you guys are podcasting while I play Mario Kart. That's usually what I do. Just have a podcast on in the background, so it's good fun. So yeah, that is what we have been playing. Let us know what you guys have been playing in the comments below. And now we're going to move on to the news. Alex usually puts transitions in, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to have me saying news, and that's going to be it. So that's the fancy transition we have for this one. So in the news, the big news this week is that Final Fantasy XIV is finally coming to Xbox, and PlayStation fans are very upset. And also Xbox have got a new relationship with Square Enix, so we might be seeing more Final Fantasy games coming to the Xbox. As PlayStation guys, what do you feel about the Final Fantasy XIV coming to more consoles, coming to Xbox? Do you like the idea? Or...
Definitely. I mean, it's an MMO, so it needs all the players it can get. It's a really successful MMO. That's renowned for being loved within its community and winning awards. I think even last game awards it won awards. I think
Community
for
award,
community or
wasn't
something.
it?
Yeah.
So yeah, open it up. Why not? I'm just surprised it's taken them this long to get it over there, because it's not been like exclusive or anything. It's just that they thought nobody would play it, I guess. And I suppose that's always the thing with with these Japanese developers anyway, where they just don't really even seem to notice Xbox. So it's good that they're going to be having a bit more of a relationship. Have you got any way to play like Final Fantasy 8, 9, 10, any of those? Have they been released yet onto the Xbox?
So when Game Pass first started, they were like, "We're gonna bring all the Final Fantasies to Game Pass," and then they never really did. And I think Final Fantasy 7's on there at the moment. They like they'll put them on then, and they'll get rid of them. Then they'll put them on then, and they'll get rid of them. I think you can buy them still digitally though. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, we got Crisis Core, but we didn't get the remake, which is weird. It seems weird that we didn't get Final Fantasy remake, but we got Crisis Core remake. It's very odd. And then you guys didn't get Octopath Traveler 1 on PlayStation, even though it's on Xbox. It doesn't make any sense. Square Enix are odd. They're a very odd company.
There'll be some kind of marketing deals, I guess, doesn't it, behind the scenes?
And then you guys are
trying to buy certain things.
And you guys have Octopath Traveler 2 where we don't, so it's like it doesn't make any sense. It's very odd.
No.
But it's I think it's great news to have more choice of like where you can play your games and stuff, you know. And yeah, I'm probably gonna try it out. I haven't played it yet, so it might be a fun game to play online. I got a couple of friends I know who play it, so like yeah, I might try it out. But yeah, I think it's a cool little thing. Maybe we might get Final Fantasy VII Remake finally. Who knows? Everyone says that game's fantastic, but I've still not played it. I've got it on my PlayStation as well. I've just not got around to playing it. I'm not much of a JRPG person, to be honest. So, but I think it's nice to have more options. So, Phil, is there anything you like want to add or?
Yeah, sure. And it was off the previous topic. I've just been doing a little Googling while you guys have been jacking it over Final Fantasy. You could actually make music within Mario Paint, and that was the...
That's what I thought.
I've made two games there out of one, but you could make music with the paint, and I remember doing that back in the day. The memory's coming back. I'm just in a Mario mood, guys. That's all I want to talk about, Mario. But if you're forcing me to talk about Final Fantasy, unfortunately... It is my gaming, black hole, dark spot, whatever you want to call it, whatever analogy you want to use. I haven't played any Final Fantasies outside the 2 hours of the most recent demo, and I gave it a 1 sound review actually on the last episode, which was because I just don't enjoy Final Fantasy at all. There's nothing there for me just yet. I have been saying to the guys that I need to play Final Fantasy VII. I need to go back, boot up the PlayStation 1, and start where most kind of fandom starts with Final Fantasy. I think it generally starts with playing Final Fantasy VII, and then people branch out and either go backwards or forwards. But I have a CRT in my room next to me, in my home office, and I've got the PlayStation 2 set up at the moment because I'm working my way still through Half-Life. But once I'm finished with that, I am threatening at the moment to get Final Fantasy VII, bang that in and work away in the background on that one. And maybe then that will turn me into a Final Fantasy-er. But moment, I couldn't care less about Final Fantasy. The 14 does sound relatively interesting. I back in the day I used to play a lot of WoW, so I like MMOs. I could see how that would work very well within the thick kind of story that Final Fantasy has. I'm sure it'd be very popular on Xbox. But yeah, I'm the same as you guys. The more opportunity people have and gamers have to play these games, they're all welcome to it. I don't want to save them because I don't even like them at the moment.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, Phil, I'm exactly the same with you as you when it comes to Final Fantasy. I've never really finished one, never really got into them. I've played a little bit of Final Fantasy VII, but I got bored after like the first hour. I need to go back and play it. Maybe we should do like a pat where we both play it at the same time or something, or try and do some.
We'll take turns.
Yeah, we'll take turns. Yeah, you play it for a few hours. I'll play it for hours.
We'll do a disc each.
Yeah,
you have multiple discs, right, with Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Four
discs.
Jesus.
Okay. I'll send you my save. You can finish her off.
I was gonna just play it on the Switch so I could just play it in the background and do other things. But we'll see.
Good idea.
But yeah, I think that's awesome for Xbox to have Final Fantasy 14 finally. But we'll just see what happens now, isn't it? It's just gonna be interesting. There's another game possibly coming to Xbox that might not be in your blind spot. Elder Scrolls Oblivion. There's getting a remake, possibly. Who knows? Rumored, I guess. This would be in your rumor section if we were doing your podcast. There's a massive rumor going out that Virtuos, the people who made the remake of Outer Worlds, which was complete
yes,
trash.
as well.
Yeah, for some reason remaking Oblivion, not remaking Morrowind or Skyrim. They're remaking Oblivion for some reason. I don't know why that particular one, but is that something you guys would be interested in? I mean, I'm not sure if it's even going to come to PlayStation. I imagine it would, because the older games seem to be coming to PlayStation. So I'm not sure.
I mean, if it's a brand new remake, there's nothing to say it would come to PlayStation. I suppose this is the thing we don't know yet, is when it comes to Bethesda, what they're going to do with their classic IP. You know, when it comes to Skyrim, when it comes to Doom, things like that. Are they going to come across? I don't know. If Oblivion does come across, and this does happen, I'd be really keen for it. I've never played Oblivion. I got into Elder Scrolls at Skyrim, like many people did.
Same.
And Oblivion was always that one that I thought, oh, I wish I'd played it. I wish I'd given it a time of day, because I've heard fantastic things about both that and Morrowind. And there's no way to really be able to play those apart from booting up the PlayStation 3. And I think the PlayStation versions back then, when it was all the old cell processor, were dodgy as hell.
Yeah.
So Skyrim took forever to get fixed.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Oblivion even plays
I think
on PlayStation 3, but I bet it's not good.
I'm pretty sure Morrowind was an Xbox exclusive as well, so I don't think it even came to PlayStation Morrowind, as far as I'm aware.
No. No, it didn't. No.
Which is what made it's like, if they were going to make it exclusive, surely you'd remake Morrowind, because that's never been on a PlayStation. So you could like go, well, it wasn't on PlayStation before, why would it be on there now? Like, you could like use that as a valid excuse, but I don't know. It's interesting. Also, Oblivion came to Xbox about 3 or 4 months before it came to PlayStation, because it was an Xbox 360 launch title, or around launch, and PlayStation came out after. So it was kind of exclusive for a little while, but not really. So you can make arguments.
There was a lot of that back in the day, though, wasn't there? I mean, like, BioShock came a year later to PlayStation than Xbox, and I think it was just, back in the day, there was just a lot of issues with people developing on cell.
Yeah.
They just really struggled with it, especially at the start of the gen, and so a lot of these things weren't even probably deals. It was just a case of, how the fuck do we get this thing to run?
Yeah.
I think was more so the problem, which obviously got fixed later on in the generation. But at the start, it was common as muck, wasn't it, to see these kind of things?
I mean, now both consoles are pretty much identical. They're both AMD, both run pretty much the same kind of specs. I think Xbox has slightly bigger hard drive, but that's about the only difference really. And you've got a fancy super SSD, which I don't know how true that is, but we'll interesting.
It seems pretty true. Did you see that? This is going off a little bit, but did you see that that tweet? There was like some tweets that were doing the rounds, and a lot of Xbox people were really upset about it. But there's this new shooter that's coming out later on this year.
Oh yeah.
And the devs were saying that they got it running on PlayStation 5. They couldn't get it running on PlayStation 4, and they can't figure it out on Xbox yet on how to do it, because it's just the SSD on PlayStation does most of the work. But I think I think they've been given solutions now from Xbox themselves, and so they're hoping that they'll be able to launch it next year, I think.
If it's the game I'm thinking of, though, I think it's that they were like trolls, a lot of them, because like the game itself looked like dog shit. So the fact that they said
I think it looks good.
it was the game I think it was. I can't, not sure. There was one game that just looked like a PS2 game that they were saying they can't run on Xbox. I'm like, that don't seem right. Might be a different game. Might be a different team I'm thinking of. But I was like, because I watched a video about it the other day, so I don't know.
It's probably the same one. It's like a space thing. It's on like a space station or something.
And the cover art's got a fireman being attacked by.
That's it. You're like a space fireman. I mean, how metal is that? You know, with your fire axe and shit. But yeah, I mean, it might be worth watching it again on like YouTube on 4K, because the Twitter video was bad. It looked like it was.
That's the one I saw. So maybe that's why I got confused. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. Well, it's not Twitter anymore, is it? It's X, which will come. Oh yeah. Thanks, Elon. You idiot.
Not confusing at all.
Yeah, so, I mean, do you have anything to add about the Oblivion remake, Phil? Like, it's just been me and Davey with this one. I feel like I've left you out a bit. You interested
No, I give you guys the air, to talk about these things. You guys got a lot of important and interesting things to say. I wouldn't want to stop your flow. But the Elder Scrolls games, I have dipped into them in the past. I think primarily PC versions of these games that I've played. And I would probably put my neck on the line here. And as Bethesda, they're going back now with Oblivion from 2006, I think it was. You got Morrowind.
Yeah.
If you're hoping they're going to be doing that, 2002. So they're going back into their back catalogue. I can't imagine these are coming to PlayStation. These are just going to be for Xbox. These are going to be your candy to entice people over to the platform. And I think they are well-loved series. You know, this is a slam dunk now. I believe part of the reason, you know, the guys over in Xbox, Big Daddy Microsoft, bought Bethesda thinking this, because they've got such a prominent back catalogue of games that people love and they're passionate about. So it's an obvious one for me that they will be going through now and recreating these games, upscaling them, reimagining them, repackaging them for your Xbox crowd, because we need more games. And why not when you've got such spectacular games as these?
Yeah, I really want a remake of Fallout 3 in New Vegas, to be honest, but that's not happening anytime soon by the looks of things. But hey, you know, yeah, it is interesting you say that, because obviously in the court case that came out a couple of weeks ago, they were saying about how like PlayStation got Deathloop, and then they got Ghostwire Tokyo, and then Xbox were like, oh, we better buy Bethesda then because we don't want to lose any more Bethesda exclusivity. So it's like now they're hoarding all the Bethesda games for themselves. So it's gonna be interesting. Could have let you guys have Redfall though. I would have been fine with that. You guys could have that.
We're good, thanks, mate.
We're good, thanks.
But yeah, I imagine you could probably play. If you do get Oblivion, you'll probably be playing it on your Steam Deck, though. I imagine, right? Like, is that something you would fancy doing, playing Oblivion on a Steam Deck? I think that'd be pretty.
Yeah,
rad.
I could see that. Yeah, definitely. I'm always on the lookout for new games that are classified as on deck. That slightly frustrates me that the vast majority of my Steam catalogue I can't actually play fully on Steam, because a lot of the controls don't tend to sync up that well. But the games that I have, and they are certified, they work like butter, and really enjoying the platform as a whole. And I know it was something that we talked about quite a lot last time I was on, so I don't want to bore your users too much with going, I've got a Steam Deck. But I did, and I really enjoy it. And yes, I probably would be playing Oblivion if that was available to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping to get a new laptop soon, so so I'll hopefully be able to play some PC games myself. So fingers crossed.
Nice.
Yeah. So that moves us on to our topic of the show. Again,
I'm loving these transitions.
I know.
Why don't we do them like this?
It's just much
Very
easier.
professional.
It's just much easier
So
to do
much
it this
easier.
way. Topic of the show. I like to just do random voices and just see what happens. So, yeah, this is our topic of the show. Today's topic is what our most anticipated games are of 2023, which you probably know because it's in the title of the video. And I assume you read it before you clicked the video. Yeah. So,
or they just clicked for our lovely faces. You've got to get a bit of click through from having me and Davey on the show.
This is true. Yeah. That's a good point. So we're gonna no, sold that completely. Sorry. Oh yeah. No, you guys are great. But yeah, we got our three personal. So we've got the top three each, because I was thinking we could have done more, but we'd probably be here for 4 hours if we did like a top 10 or whatever. So we're sticking to the top three. Maybe do honorable mentions if there's a game that's slipped through the net that none of us have mentioned, but stick with our top three for now. What order would we like to go in? Should we just do we want to go?
You're the boss.
Yeah,
You're the boss. You dictate, mate. You dictate.
So I was just going to do it on the way my screen's laid out. So I would have Phil go first, I think, and then Davey, then me.
Okay.
Yeah. So Phil, what is your third most anticipated game for the rest of 2023?
Well, Lewis, my third most anticipated game for the year of 2023 is a little game. And I know Davey's already rolling his eyes in the back of his head, because I cannot wait for Armored Core, Fires of Rubicon. Now, what a name! The Fires of Rubicon. Rubicon, every time I hear that, I just think of the drink. But regardless, Armored Core has always been a series I've loved. As you can see behind me, I'm a big robot guy. I like my Transformers, I love my Gundams, and I love my Armored Core. I've got every single version of Armored Core up on my shelf, and I cannot wait for this next one. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of people really excited about this game. Obviously, I'm following the official channels rather than anyone that's critiquing it too heavily. But it is the game where you dive around in metal suits, metal mechs, and you armor them up. You get different guns and fly around the sky, blasting each other. It's my dream as a kid, really, to drive a Gundam, and I get to do that in this new edition of Armored Core. So yeah, really, really looking forward to it. Comes out the 25th of August, and a little nod because it is an Xbox game as well as PlayStation 5 game. So I thought I'd start off with that one. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. That would be my first choice.
Fair.
Right around the corner.
That is fair, and it's a From Software game. Davey does not seem amused though, so I'm. You're not into this, are you, Davey? Like, what's the deal?
The thing is, right, I love FromSoft. I absolutely adore them. I've loved like all their games they've done ever since Dark Souls, right? But the thing is, I've played Armored Core and it's shit. Like, it's so mid, it's unbelievable. And the thing is, like, all these people that are like, oh, FromSoft, dude, it's going to be great. They're going to get into it and realize that it's a fucking, it's a mech game that's not all about the mech combat. It's about like, oh, how much of my bullets have I used? Have I got enough? Do I want to rerun this? Do I want to change this on my suit? It's like a sim game with robot fighting kind of there. And people don't realize this. When this game comes out, there's going to be pushback. I guarantee it. Because everyone's seen the combat saying, looks slick. And it does. But then you've got to do everything else in Armored Core. So I don't think people understand this about Armored Core at all.
It's a bit like buying Eve, the PC game, and thinking you're going to fly a spaceship. Because actually it's just a glorified spreadsheet. And Armored Core is very much the same. There's a lot of menus where you can tweak your mechs. A bit like Gran Turismo, I suppose, if you've got into the car side of things. There's a little bit of tweaking in that. But Armored Core definitely does take it to the nth degree. So yeah, be warned. I enjoy all that. So
I mean, I hope it is good. I've got it on the fantasy draft. If you guys know about the fantasy draft, we basically you're picking games that you think you're going to review well. I've got it on my fantasy draft because I thought it would review well. If it's bad, I'm going to be very disappointed because it's going to screw my bloody team up. I like it.
I think with Armored Core, I think people who like Armored Core are going to like this one. Yeah. I think people that like FromSoft and they like the Bloodborns and they like all that, they're going to dive in because it's the same, developers here, and they'll probably be disappointed, I would imagine.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's going to go. So we're going to get slaughtered, all the Armored Core fans. We really are.
No bonfires or Estus flasks or anything like that. You don't drink any like yellow drink. No, okay, that's a bit worrying. Can you roll around and slash stuff in the butt? I mean, that's like the key of a From Software game, right? Like you just roll around and like poke.
You can it's a lot of strafing, if I remember rightly, in Armored Core, isn't it, Phil? And they're just shooting lasers. That's pretty much it, right?
I mean, that's Dark Souls to me.
Sword at some stage, I'm sure. Yeah, Force sword.
I mean, that's pretty Dark Souls to me.
But yeah, you are right. There is a lot of strafing. But like, if you love that, you're just going to get more of this, right? So if you're a fan of the series, it's going to be a lot of fun, and you get to play it on a modern console, which we haven't for a long time.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. You're right though. There's going to be a big realization that actually you can't rely on what FromSoft have done before. Like this is you need to know.
Okay, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm definitely going to try it out. I'm not as excited as you are, Phil, but I'm definitely going to give it a try for sure because we'll try. I like robots. I like sci-fi. I'm totally down to try it out. So Davey, what is your number 3 on your list?
Well, I got choices. I got choices here, and this is where I don't know whether or not I play the game a little bit, because am I allowed to put something that's already come out years and years and years ago in this list that is getting a new release?
Yes, because I've got it in my list as well.
I think I've got it on my list as well.
All right, number 3.
That's what I think it is.
I was gonna go for Stellar Blade.
Oh, okay.
But instead, if I'm allowed it, I'm gonna go for the Metal Gear Solid Collection. The Master Collection Volume 1, releasing on the 24th of October 2023. My God, what more can you want? The original Metal Gear Solid with trophy support, that's a selling point in itself. But you get Metal Gear Solid 2, you get Metal Gear Solid 3, you get Metal Gear 2. All these games in one beautiful little collection coming out at the end of October. Oh, my favourite game of all time.
Yeah,
Had to be in the list.
it was gonna be my number 3, but I think I might change my number 3 now. But yeah, that was I love Metal Gear Solid as well. We all do. I mean, we might as well just do a Metal Gear Solid podcast at some point. I cannot wait. I can't wait to play the 6 out of 10 Metal Gear Solid 1 again. I can't wait.
Jeez.
Haunts me, that score.
No.
Haunts
10 out of 10. Great. One
Why
of the
isn't
greatest
that
games
a
ever.
meme? Why haven't we made that as a meme yet?
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to make that.
Go back and clip it for us, Lewis, please. 'Cause you mention it a lot, but we mention it a lot as well.
Yeah.
Every time Metal Gear Solid comes up, we have to put the boot
Yeah.
into Spencer.
If you
Because you are right, he did rate the original Metal Gear Solid, the PS1 Metal Gear Solid, a 6 out of 10.
No, it hurts. It hurts. How can you do that? It's just horrible. Oh. It's like if you like. I don't even know how you could say it's 6 out of 10 now because he's like saying it's all modern standards and all that. You play it now, it still holds up amazingly well. Yeah, okay, it's a bit blocky, but like the acting and the character and the gameplay still holds up amazingly well for a game that's just like you could tell someone this was made like retro inspired game that was made this year. Tell someone that and they probably believe you because it just holds up that well. The original Metal Gear Solid game, you know. I don't understand.
So iconic.
I don't understand.
Just so iconic. I mean, everything about it is just perfection to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm super biased, but
Yeah.
on Spencer's own
We all are.
internal scales, it runs something like it's a 6 out of 10, but according to him, it's the best game on PS1. And back then, it would probably be like a 9 or a 10, but now that's slipped to a 6.
Okay.
His scales never make sense.
It's not a VR game because he's got a completely different scale for VR because apparently VR games aren't real games, he told us in the last episode. So who knows? Who knows when he rates things, honestly.
So I've got a dilemma when it comes to the Metal Gear Solid collection. I think I said this on Twitter the other day. Do I get it on Xbox so I get all the achievements, get it in 4K and have all the bells and whistles, or do I get it on the Switch so I can play it while I poop? Like that is the big question. Which version do I get? Do I get the Switch version or the Xbox version? I know you guys will just say
How often do you
PlayStation. Well, have you seen me? I think quite a lot would be the answer to that. Also,
if you
I
poop
find,
a lot, then
Yeah.
you might want to go for the poop console.
also I
Why
fly to
not
Australia every
both?
couple of years. Yeah.
Why not both?
Because I'm not rich.
You could start. You could start the one. You could start like Metal Gear Solid 3 on the poop,
Yeah,
and then you can enjoy the majesty of Metal Gear Solid 1 on the big screen
it's
on
true.
the TV.
I mean, I do
So
fly
I
to
get it.
Australia every 2 or 3 years as well, which is like a 24-hour flight there and back. So that's a Metal Gear Solid game right there.
Are you going the end of October?
I'm not going this year. I'm going next year, early next year. Probably going to be
Oh,
going.
you won't
so-
want to save the game that long. You want to blast this out.
I mean, I could play it 6 or 7 times. Like I've already replayed it loads of times. I'll probably replay it again by that point. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. If you guys want to help me pay for it, join my Patreon. Links in the description. You can help me buy Metal Gear Solid for both consoles because that's what I'm gonna need. I need to like win the lottery or something. But yeah, I'm very excited for Metal Gear Solid. I mean, Phil, we know you're excited for it as well. Do you want to talk a little bit about Metal Gear Solid Collection and your excitement for it?
Yeah, sure. It was in my list as well, so
Oh, right.
I'm scrambling around at the moment just in case you are going to ask me for a third and I don't have a third one lined up. Silly me for not having a backup. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. Obviously, it's a day one. October's looking pretty busy because there might be another game which we'll mention when it loops back round to me, which is that PlayStation 5 exclusive, which we are potentially going to mention.
It might not
We
be.
are going to mention.
We might not need to look
and
around.
that comes out 4 days earlier on the 20th of October. So yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed month. But Metal Gear Solid, I'm still playing through Metal Gear Solid over and over again. It's one of those games that I have, and I'm speaking to loads of different people who play games and re-go through games pretty much every year. Okay, so Half-Life is one for me. I'll always play Half-Life. Pretty much every other year I'm going through playing that game because I just love it so much. And Metal Gear Solid, the original, is the same. We did a whole spoiler cast from the past around Metal Gear Solid, and it was just me and Davey just quoting it up the wazoo and out of the wazoo, and Spencer there just a little bit confused about why we were so passionate about this game. But it is very much a game to be played and loved, and as soon as you do, you'll be ultimately passionate about it. And I'm sure your listeners, as soon as they play it, if they haven't played it before, they'll be ringing up and asking to join our Kojima podcast, which will be launching soon.
I love that. The idea of them ringing us like on their telephone, like,
Oh,
hello.
the hotline. Don't you have a Xbox
Konami
Marks the
hotline.
Box hotline?
The Xbox the Box hotline is coming soon. I'm gonna have to fund that with Patreon again. Links in the description. Yeah, I mean, Metal Gear Solid Collection was gonna be my number 3. Well, you mentioned the game you mentioned where you're gonna probably mention when you go around. And you're not gonna be going around because that's my number 3 at the moment.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
You can still keep it in your
It's going to be a
list.
short episode, this.
Still keep it in your list, mate.
My number 3 is Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation. The reason I own a PS5 is Spider-Man 2, and I should have waited for the Spider-Man 2 special edition because that looks sick, and I want it. And I already got a PlayStation, so I'm like, no, damn it. That's
yeah,
my
and
number 3.
you got no chance now buying the covers either. They totally sold out. No joy, I'm afraid, mate. You're totally out of options. Yeah. So,
but yeah, it looks
just a note on
looks absolutely incredible. Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, and then I got the remake on PS5, and then Miles Morales, and I got Miles Morales on PS5. I have 4 platinums on that. So those 2 games, playing them twice through to get 4 platinums. Those games are absolutely incredible. I enjoy them so much. They're my favorite PlayStation franchise at the moment. And the reason I bought a PS5 was for Spider-Man 2. And I got impatient. I was like, I'll just buy it now. But saying that, the price has gone up since I bought a PlayStation 5, so I did buy it at the right time. Technically,
it's back down now, mate. It's cheaper than ever.
No.
It's $75 at the minute. Yeah.
no.
It's like 300 odd quid. Yeah.
I need to go back.
You've been done, mate.
I need to go back to play God of War, but then I'm also getting distracted by Ghost of Tsushima. But anyway, Spider-Man, awesome. If you have a PlayStation or you consider getting a PlayStation, I would say that's like the best game. Personally, my favorite game on PlayStation is Spider-Man, the Spider-Man series. So 1, Miles Morales, and 2 looks awesome. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this comes in. Well, we might as well be skipping to me, I guess. This comes in at my number 2 on my most anticipated games list. Going to Spider-Man 2. Yeah, mega hyped. I mean, we know exactly what we're going to be getting. It's going to be more Spider-Man, but now with extra mobility options and extra ways to be able to switch between the heroes and see Miles's power set and see Pete's gadgets and the symbiote. And I've always just been a massive fan of Venom.
Yeah.
So seeing the black suit Spider-Man is always my favorite. So to be able to run around with that and get all like emo and angry and all that stuff, all about a nice bit of vengeance.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that the Spider-Man just lets loose with those powers. And from what we've seen, Insomniac, well, they just don't really miss, do they?
No.
So it's going to be another phenomenal experience. So can't wait.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it's going to be an Eddie Brock story either. It looks like it's going to be Harry Osborn. I mean, it looks like it's going to be different. They're going to have a brand new storyline for this version of Venom, like in the Venom, in the Insomniac verse or whatever. It might not even be. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be interesting. They got their own take on Venom, which I like. I like that they're not just following the comic books; they're doing their own take on it, which is going to be great. Like the different characters in the Miles Morales series as well, which I thought was really interesting. So yeah, Phil, this was your number 3 as well, was it, or 2 or 1? It was in your list anyway, right?
Yeah, this is top of the list for me. I'm a massive Spider-Man fan boy. My name on the internet for years has been Venom Phil after Venom. I'm a massive fan of the series, and I eat it up. We have all bought on the PlayStation podcast the collector's edition, which comes with this humongous Venom statue, and you have Peter and Miles kind of attacking him. And I'm still looking around my room at the moment because it is full. I don't know what to get rid of. So we have conversations quite a lot to say when we get a new collector's edition, something old has to kind of go or go up the loft. So yeah, I need to look around my room of what I can ditch off, because that statue's going on show because it looks beautiful.
Sure.
Yeah, the game itself, really, really can't wait. We've been speculating on it since every snippet of information that we've got from all the different shows, and we've been going wild of the story. And I like the way you're saying that it's going to go away from the comic books. I kind of believe that it probably will end up in the bell tower at some stage with Venom,
Oh, yeah.
and the symbiote, and we've got to do the cliche moments from the series, and we're going to recreate it in this Insomniac verse that you've
Insomniac
lovingly given the name there. I really like that. I might use that in the future. That'll be stolen. But yeah, as I said, everything within this game just looks amazing. The combat, the story, the characters that are in it, it's all me at the moment. So it's all coming up, Phil. And yeah, order the collector's edition. Obviously, it's day one. Might have to take a day off work for this one.
Oh yeah, for sure. As long as we don't get the guy from that 70s show as Venom, I'm gonna be happy. I think. I can't even remember his name now.
Toby, was it Toby Grace or something?
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
similar. Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that,
Oh my god, if you guys haven't seen Spider-Man 3, the original with Tobey Maguire, oh my god, it's bad, unfortunately. But I can't wait for this game. I kind of want the limited edition now you've said it, and now you've put that in my head. I haven't ordered it or got it. Like I was just gonna buy it normally, but you have made me think. Does it come with a digital code, or does it come with a disc? Because most PlayStation stuff got digital codes.
Digital. So you don't actually get the disc. And as a physical collector, I raged about this. It really annoys me. The God of War one was the same. You opened up the steelbook and there's nothing in there.
That's a shame, but it makes sense for people who have like a PS5 digital only, and then if they can still get the collector's edition. I know. But it's just, we have the same arguments with one of the games on my list, where like people are saying like, why isn't why the collector's edition has no digital code? So well, the Series S doesn't have a disc drive, so you have to you'll have to have a digital code for it. So it's the same thing, same problem. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. I'm not sure if I'm getting it day one. I might be getting it for Christmas and leaving it a little longer. I'm not sure because I'm going to have a lot of games to play up until that point, but I am very excited for it for sure. I'm not quite sure. I might just play Metal... I don't know. I'm going to think about it. I am like, I really want to play it because it's Spider-Man and Spider-Man's awesome. Like, so I'm like, so I don't know if you've got a replacement number 3, Phil, or if you want to like just give us an honourable mention or something. If you don't, or we can go back around to Davey again. It's up to you.
No, I'm more than happy to talk about another game because there is a few other games, obviously.
Okay.
We're in the PlayStation Nation here, right? I'm a proud member. There's a hell of a lot of games that we can go through, but one of the ones that have sort of, getting my eye lately is Fort Solace. This is an action-adventure game, but it has very horror roots within it. And it's a thriller, apparently, set on the far side of Mars. Really interested in this one. There was a 14-minute trailer, which I've just had on in the background, that was released a while back. And yeah, I'm really eating up everything that's coming out of Fort Solace at the moment. It does say it's an action game, which confuses me because everything I've seen is walking around and kind of piecing the story together with this one. So I don't know where the action comes into it. Maybe it comes after the 14-minute trailer that we see. But with this one, there's going to be a lot of exploration. I think it's going to be one of those spooky ones that you're going to be walking around. There's potentially going to be some jump scares in it. But I'm down for it. I'm really excited for this one. This would come in probably slightly less than Armored Core because I'm a Armored Core stan, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Metal Gear. But it's on my list. It's a game that I will be buying sometime in the future when it comes out. So Q3 2023.
I haven't heard of this game. Was this one of the ones featured in Jeff Keighley's horror space spectacular show where you basically had like 6 or 7 games that looked exactly the same? They're all like space and horror themed. Yeah. Is it the one with Troy Baker in it, or was it a different one? It's the one with Troy Baker in.
That's the one.
Yeah. It looked good.
And Davey, you were laughing about that because I think that presentation, literally, they were just going back to space. Every game was like, where are we going to take you this time? To space. Via...
The dream.
Yeah.
The dream for me.
Dead Space, Callisto. That.
Oh, yeah. Fort Solace looks great. I mean, coming out, if I remember rightly, coming out in August, coming out this month, isn't it?
Wow.
I believe. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. PlayStation 5 console exclusive. Yeah, it looks like it'd be interesting. I still don't know. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna review it for my channel, I think. but I don't know what I'm going to walk into. I don't know if it's going to be very much like a kind of story game, something like Life is Strange kind of esque, or if it's going to be something different. I have no idea, but I
Dead
think it's
Space.
that unknown and that little I know about it is kind of fueling my curiosity. So I'm definitely going to be checking it out. Going to be a day one for me. I'm going to review it for the channel 100%. So yeah, looking forward to playing it.
You guys will have to let me know what it is. I'll watch your review on SSJ Davey on YouTube. I will be watching your review.
Thank you.
Because I'm probably not going to buy it, but I'm going to definitely look at your review and see what you think of it, and I'll judge it from that, because they've got so much to play. Because this year is insane when it comes to games. So yeah, Davey, what is your number 2?
Well, my number 2 we covered already, which is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So my number 3 space was MGS, then number 2 was Spidey. So I could throw an honorable mention here, or I
Yeah.
can go straight to number 1. What would you want to do, Lewis? How do you want to do it?
Should we just do an honorable mention, I guess, for now, and then we'll do our number ones after I've done my number 2. That sounds weird.
Okay,
But you
so
know what I mean.
that's all right. Well, that's good because I've got options. I had 3 set for number 3, so I've got options to work with here.
Good.
So I'm going to go with the one that would have made my number 3 if MGS wasn't allowed, which is Stellar Blade. So Stellar Blade is a game which Spencer's got his eyes on because the woman's got a big old fat ass and she's running around slicing up monsters. But it's done by a Korean studio called Shift Up. Now it's set for release this year, although we haven't heard about it for a little while now. And if the rumors are true and we get a PlayStation Showcase, there's still hope for this year. However, if not, I could see it being pushed into 2024. But everything we've seen about this game just looks fantastic. It looks so slick. The combat is just straight out Devil May Cry. It looks just a bit of me. So I can't wait for this one. I'm really excited by it, and seeing this Korean studio step up. Sony been doing a lot of work around China and Korea and all these different like smaller developers, bringing them up onto the main stage. This game looks graphically phenomenal. Done on UE4, I believe, instead of UE5. But hell, sign me up. I can't wait to see more about this game. And so far, everything I've seen has been really, really exciting. So yeah, this is definitely on my list. If it comes out this year or not is another thing entirely, though. Yeah, we'll see.
It looks interesting. Yeah, I've seen that one. It looks very interesting. Very weeby. Looks very anime.
Yes.
Like one of my Japanese animes. I feel it looks alright. Yeah, I think it looks cool. Kind of gave me Bayonetta kind of vibes, really. I know it's like sci-fi, but kind of gave me that kind of vibe to it. I don't know. It looks interesting for sure. Again, one of those things I'll have to watch a review or whatever. Or see what you guys have to say about it when it comes out. So my number 2 is not an Xbox game, not a PlayStation game. It is Super Mario Wonder, because that game looks really fun. It looks like Super Mario Bros. 4, basically. It looks like it's a brand new 2D Super Mario Brothers game. I'm a sucker for 2D Mario. You can turn into an elephant. It looks like a drug trip. I'm totally down for it. I mean, it looks really fun. And this is also another reason why I was thinking maybe I might not get Spider-Man day one, because it comes out the same day as Spider-Man. So I was like, play Mario Wonder. Play Mario Wonder. But it's like Mario Wonder, I'll literally complete it in like a week. And then I'll be free to do whatever. Because like, I know what I'm like with Mario games. I'll just binge them and just complete it like really quick. So I mean, I know Spider-Man is a game I'm going to be playing for months and trying to get the platinum for and everything. So I thought, get Super Mario Wonder out of the way, then binge Spider-Man. Probably that was my idea anyway. Because why did they come out on the same day? They're the two, my number 3 and my number 2, and they come out on the same bloody day. It's so annoying. Why?
Yeah, they really do.
But yeah, Mario and Spider-Man for sure. But yeah, Mario Wonder. You guys have got any interest in this at all, or?
Yeah, I do. So my son's mega into Mario. It's one of the things that I gave him a Switch on his 3rd birthday, or what was it, his 4th? It doesn't matter. Anyway, and we've played loads of games together. And so the thing is with like the Mario games these days, they can all be played co-op in some form. Like even Odyssey, someone can be Cappy or whatever.
Yeah.
And so this is a game that he's getting for Christmas.
Oh.
Well, he's getting for like a late birthday present, really. I've already pre-ordered it for him. He knows it's coming, but obviously it comes out in October. So we'll be playing that together and just having a good bit of fun with it. Although
That's nice.
I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of 2D Mario. I'm just not very good at it. Didn't grow up on it. I was a Sega kid, so it was always like deaf to Mario. So it's not going to be like my preferred thing. It's not like going to be Odyssey was, where I was really excited for it. But yeah, it's going to be fun to play with my son anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. It's really oddly sweet for this podcast.
Yeah.
It's not enough dicks and fart jokes in or anything here. We need to lower the tone a bit.
Raise it up a little bit, get some bit of class into it. Before I hand it over to Phil, so we can talk about how he's going to be wanking off to the elephant or whatever he's going to be doing.
Right.
Wow.
Just bringing it back down.
Nice
Straight back
and-
down.
I mean, he just looked thick, didn't he? Like Mario when he's at the elephant. It's like, ooh, nice thick Mario. He's like, whoa.
So it's an elephant, isn't it?
Yeah.
The thickest creature kind of on land, really.
I mean, could you beat that
So-
in a fist fight? Like, for back to your podcast where you're talking about fighting a bear, a hippopot. What was it? Hippo, bear, tiger, crocodile, and then
Or
just
croc, yeah.
Mario elephant. Chuck that in there.
I think if it was Mario as the elephant, yes, I
Yeah.
could, because I think he wouldn't really want to engage in too much like bloody combat. He's used to things like respawning or coming back.
He likes
where he's not
squashing
used to
things.
He does, but then I think I'll get on that trunk, and that's a weakness. You can
Yeah.
climb up that straight in the eyes of Mario, and he doesn't know what to do. Then he doesn't have the primal rage that an elephant has. So I think that his human side, or whatever he is, if he is human or not, that would weigh him down, I reckon, in this fight. So Mario elephant, I could take. Normal elephant, no fucking chance. No way. I'd be speared on the tusk, hit by the trunk, squished. No chance.
Yeah. So Phil, I kind of derailed our conversation a little bit there. Phil, what do you think of Super Mario Wonder?
Well, I've got a bit of an admission for the podcast. And I know we've been in such a positive vibe here, a posi vibe, if you like, for Mario, since we were talking about it a little bit earlier. But my admission to you guys is I haven't played a modern Mario game since Galaxy, I want to say. Or I don't even think I've really spent a lot of time in Galaxy. So the one before that, would that be Sunshine?
Yeah. Before Galaxy, with Sunshine. Yeah.
So Sunshine was probably the last Mario I completed and spent any meaningful time in.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong, game looks gorgeous. It's going to be amazing. All the Mario games are. They don't tend to put out duds, Nintendo. They know what they're doing with that IP. And this one looks crazier than ever, especially because you can turn into an elephant. But for me, there's just not really the push there. I don't have a son or a daughter or really anyone to play these games with. And Mario of yesteryear was the game that I always used to play with my mum. I'll admit it. I used to double up with my mum and play Mario. So I would go Mario, obviously he's the best, he's the main character. My mum would go in as Luigi, but Luigi would have to go in the Ghost Mansions. Luigi would have to, fight the bosses. Phil would go through and do the nice fun levels and enjoy himself within it. But my mum would come through strong and she would do the hard levels. So now when I'm facing the big bads in Street Fighter later on, I'm going to have to get my mum trained up on the fight stick when she wants to come on and take Davey and Spence on. So I think I might have to revert to that sometime soon.
I mean, I don't have any kids or anything. I just got the mental age of a 10-year-old. That's my thing when it comes to Mario. So it's like, yay! It's Mario! Team Luigi all the way, by the way. Just like, it always reminds me when I went to this.
It has to be green, doesn't it? With you?
I love green.
When there's
Give
a
it a
choice,
I love green.
just go for the green one. What's your
Yeah.
favourite colour on a traffic light symbol, Lewis? Is probably the green one,
It
isn't
is
it?
the green one.
Yeah.
Probably just
Yeah.
like the
I do
always the
love green. Well, green was my favorite
Yeah.
color as a kid. To be fair, like Power Rangers, Luigi, green was awesome. To be fair,
like Red Ranger's easily the best.
oh no, Green Ranger. Man.
Or White Ranger.
White
I know
Ranger, yeah.
Green Ranger was always
Green was the best.
Green
yeah.
Ranger's always just looked like a dick, I reckon. Until he got white. When he got his white upgrade,
Whoa.
much better. No, the frills, mate. The little huge shoulder
like
pad,
like the triangle
insert
thing
over the top.
Yeah,
Sick.
Power Rangers.
Absolutely sick.
R.I.P. Tommy. Yeah. Oh, sad.
Bringing it down now.
Bringing it
We're
down.
getting all kind of emotions.
It's
here,
all
aren't
over
we?
the
We're getting
place.
Glee, getting a bit of silliness. We're getting
It's all
a bit
over the
sad
place.
now.
Yeah. So that's my number 2 on my list. I don't know if we're all gonna have different number ones on our list or not. It's gonna be interesting. But we will go back round to Phil. What is your most anticipated game that's not Spider-Man, which was your most anticipated game? Just to confuse
see
everyone.
what you've done there.
Yeah.
I see what you've done there. Very, very, very clever. So I've had Armored Core, I've had Fort Solace, and the other game, which hasn't been mentioned in a while. And I'm quite surprised, really, because this game, I think, will change gaming.
Wow.
It's one of those ones that I've been waiting for a number of years now. Take a breath. This is Space Marine 2 Warhammer 40,000. Now, guys, where do I start with this one? Let's take it back to the original. Now, this game came out of nowhere. Back in the day, I remember living at my parents'. It got delivered to 3 doors down. I was wondering where it was. We didn't have tracking as good as we do now. I phoned up the company and said, "Where's my Space Marine?" They said, "Oh, we've delivered to the wrong house." So I had to go around, march round. Got my Space Marine. Absolutely caned that game. There's no better feeling in gaming than having power armor on, suiting up, big bolt gun in your hands, and a chainsaw, and going through, slashing out some orcs, slashing up some nids, and taking the bad guys down for the Emperor. Now, this next one looks very, very interesting because we're twisting, reversing it, and we're doing co-op with this one. You can play it, I believe, 3-player, so it's a perfect game for a trio that likes a bit of Warhammer. And I'm definitely going in the power suit. So if you boys want to join me, I'm sure there's a space open because we've got another guy on the podcast which tends to dunk on the Warhammer brand. And I think he's going to live to regret it because this game looks absolutely chef's kiss.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, I've not played it, but I like the first one, but I have seen it's really good, the first one. I need to go back and play it at some point. Wasn't it on the... Well, I was going to say the 360, but obviously you wouldn't have played on the
3.
PS3, yes. That generation, yeah.
Yeah,
it looks... the new one looks really cool. I think I saw it in one of the Keighley conferences. I can't remember which one it was, but it looked really rad. Yeah, I'm down for trying that. I'll join you guys. I'm not too cool for Warhammer, like Spencer, you know. Well, you know, he thinks he's too cool for Warhammer anyway.
There we go. Good correction.
Good cover,
comrade. Yeah. For the Emperor.
For the Emperor, yeah. I still need to play. What was the other Space Marine Warhammer game that just came out? Bolt Gun, is it? I need to. I need to play that. I've heard that's great. I still haven't played that yet. I've heard that's really good.
It's quite samey. I'll warn you.
Right.
I played it for a few hours when I was traveling somewhere on my Steam Deck, and you play the first couple of levels. It's enjoyable. It's retro fun. So it's called a boomer shooter. I think they've coined it these days.
Yeah.
That term tends to come up a lot when you Google around bolt gun and the like. But it's very much taking you back to the old days of the original Doom.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of story. There's not a lot going on in the game outside you running around with a bolt gun just blasting things. Yeah. There's a very satisfying sword swipe in the game where you have like a charge move and you go into the bad guys or the chaos demons or whatever you're taking apart, and the blood and the sounds are brilliant. But once you've done it a few times, the next 100 is quite boring because they're the same. I'll admit that. But it is a fun game. Enjoy it for what it is. It's not a serious game in any realm.
Yeah. I'm a little bit off topic, but you're saying boomer shooter. Are we boomers? I don't think we are. That's like the generation above us, right? What are we?
I would imagine I am.
Okay, so it's perfect for Phil.
I think I'd probably because I played Doom 1, right? I played it on the PC.
Yeah.
When it came out. I think when it came out.
Yeah.
I might have to fact check these.
I never know what generation like we would be considered as. I don't know. Yeah,
we're not boomers. We're not boomers. No, we're not boomers.
No.
So these new kids would probably call us boomers, but they don't know. They don't know enough.
Damn kids with their Fortnites and their battle passes.
Yeah, bloody. Getting their ultimate teams on FIFA. Kids, stupid kids.
Stupid kids, yeah.
Well, you can play them in Mortal Kombat now. Is that boomer to play?
Yeah.
The Doom Man.
Maybe.
But yeah, 10th of December 1993 apparently came out, the original Doom.
Ooh.
I was
little fact check for you.
I was 4.
I was 4. Yeah, 4.
A 5.
Too young for Doom. Too young for Doom.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, Space Marine, Phil, will you mention it? It's not on my list, but it was something that I was debating whether or not I'd put it somewhere because I'm so in for this. This is definitely a day one. Everything we've seen, it's been so exciting. And even though the original PS3 one was kind of like a mid game, really, but it was really fun, this one just looks like it's a hell of a lot of polish. It looks like they put a lot of love and care into this. And I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be so much fun to just suit up and just slay, just absolutely slay all these
Slay
Tyranids and all these non-believers, and just show them the religion, show
The
them the
Xenos.
proper way, the Emperor's way,
hell yeah.
and that's what it's all about. So
Can't wait
yeah,
to
I can't wait. Definitely
slay.
day one for me.
Slay Queen. Yeah. uh, so
We'll be opting for the blue armor. I
Yeah.
think the Ultramarines.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
go
yeah.
for the
Yeah,
manly
Ultramarines.
Ultramarines. I think as we slay.
man, I haven't played Warhammer in years, man. I need to go back and play some Warhammer. I used to collect the 40,000 like figures and stuff, and I was awful at painting them. They looked awful, but I used to love them so much. Ugh, yeah. I need to go back and do some Warhammer. Warhammer's great. Like, yeah, underrated. So Davey, what is your number one most anticipated game? Ooh.
So my number one hasn't come up yet, and it's definitely my number one. Didn't have to think about it. It's Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 coming out some date in the future of this year. Not been given a date yet. The rumours going wild at the moment that it's coming out in early October. So, I mean, Christ, can you imagine? We got, straight from Helldivers into Spiderman into Metal Gear. All in 1 month. I don't know how the hell I manage it. Helldivers, for those that don't know, it's made by Arrowhead Studios, who are the studio that I really want Sony to purchase. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. Helldivers 1 came out many years ago on PS3 originally, and then had a port to PS4 where it was like the Mega Earth Edition, and it had like all the DLC, it had kind of everything in it. It's essentially a world that's very akin to like Starship Troopers, and it's a 4-player co-op. Now, the original Helldivers is a top-down perspective, friendly fires on, crushingly hard. You got to use a lot of tactics. You got to really work together as a tight unit and pick the right things to go into the missions with. Really, really fun. And when it all works, it's amazing. And when it all goes wrong, it's funny as hell. And this Helldivers 2, they blow my expectations away when they originally shown it, because they've taken it to third person. So they're putting you right in the thick of the action. The graphical polish looks incredible, and I know that if it's the same gameplay as the base game, it's going to be one of the best games of this entire generation by the end of it, 100%. Because Helldivers always was. A fantastic game, a game that's not going to have the biggest pop, I don't think. It's going to be something that's going to be for quite a niche audience as opposed to the rest of like the PlayStation 5 exclusives. But I'm hoping that word of mouth just grows with this, because Helldivers always deserved love, and it had a huge community on PC and on PlayStation, and still very active game now. Me and Spence booted up the other day and did a couple of missions. It's just fun. So yeah, I can't wait for it. Easy my number one most anticipated game. Cannot wait.
I kind of thought that would be your number one, actually, because I remember you talking about it. It's definitely a game we should try and I might actually get and play on my PlayStation for sure, while I wait to play Spider-Man. I think that'd be worth doing for sure. It looks really fun, like third person action shooter. As you said, the original was a twin stick above view, but now it's like third person. So it does look cool. If you guys don't remember it, it was in the PlayStation conference, and it had a really silly trailer. For like any viewers who don't really remember it, the trailer was really wacky. It was a guy like, over dramatically seeing someone die. I can't remember exactly what happened. He was just like, no. But it looked fun.
That's how they get you to sign up to defend Super Earth's army against these uncivilized barbarian bugs.
It is very Starship Troopers. Yeah, it's very Starship Troopers.
So.
Yeah. So my number one. I mean, I feel like we got a theme of sci-fi here. Actually, surprisingly, there's a lot of sci-fi for our number ones here. My number one is Starfield. Starfield, yeah. I was going to say something funny, and for some reason I just said Starfield. It's Starfield. Yeah, I was gonna say Skyrim in
Woo.
space. Yeah, that's my game of the year is Starfield. My most anticipated game of the year is Starfield. I played Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I've always said Tears of the Kingdom is going to be my game of the year unless Starfield hits. Like that's the only game I could possibly see being better than Legend of Zelda for me. I mean, it looks so good though. I'm so excited for Starfield. Yeah, it's like we've been talking about sci-fi just now. Like all our games are sci-fi games. I'm a big like sci-fi person. Skyrim is one of my favorite games ever, in spite of the fact of it being like medieval, not medieval, fantasy. Yeah, fantasy.
Yeah, it's
and
a fantasy game.
But if you ask me, like, would I prefer to watch Lord of the Rings or Star Wars? I would say Star Wars. I'm like a sci-fi person over a fantasy person. That's just my personal taste. I prefer sci-fi.
Star Wars. Ooh.
Yeah, I love Star.
I
Well,
like Star Wars.
I love the
but
original
Lord of the Rings-
trilogy. Original trilogy. Yeah.
Oh,
She doesn't know what I
Alexis-
like.
Alexa doesn't know.
She
Alexa
doesn't
doesn't know
know.
what to pick.
She didn't know what to pick. But yeah, but I'm more of a sci-fi person. I like sci-fi, and the fact that we're gonna get Skyrim, the sci-fi, is totally exciting for me. I'm totally into it. The idea of it is awesome. It might suck. I really hope it doesn't. I mean, they've been put a lot of time and polish into this. This is probably the biggest Xbox release ever, possibly, maybe since like Combat Evolved on the original Xbox. Like this is going to be like the biggest game in Xbox history, or one of, and I'm very excited for it. The 30 FPS thing kind of put me off a little bit, but I'm still excited for it. I like the idea of just going to a desolated planet and just like exploring like nothingness. I just think that is like rad. I just think that's so cool. I'm just really excited for it. Honestly, just so much like watching the 40. Like, I don't know if you guys watched the 45-minute Starfield Direct. It looks so cool. It just looks so cool. I can't wait. I'm just so excited for it. Oh,
I really hope it hits, man.
me too.
Because, like you say, it's got to for you. Like it has to. This year's not been the best year
No,
for Xbox. Let's be real. It's not been good at all.
no.
So it needs to hit. And I think the only concern that I have for you guys is that Bethesda aren't exactly well known for their polish, right? When it comes to like bugs, right?
Bug
There's going to
festa.
be a lot. There's going to be a lot. And I think that's anytime you got a game of this kind of scale, it's
Oh,
to
yeah.
be expected, right? But in this day and age now, can you imagine if you had like the shit that was happening on like Skyrim, but you had Twitter back then?
Oof,
It would
God.
be so damaging for them. So hopefully, with the
Yeah.
extra time they've taken, they've been able to resolve some of that stuff. And I mean, bugs are what they are, right? They're in every game, and it's only the odd occasion that it totally cripples a game.
Yeah.
But I hope, and I'm not saying this for you and for Alice, but the like vocal Twitter people for Xbox putting this like as if it's going to be the next coming of Christ.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I really hope it is for you guys. I really hope so, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm very tempered expectation at the moment, just because Bethesda aren't the seal of quality that they used to be.
Yeah, for sure.
A long time ago.
And then on the contrary, you also get the same, like similar people on the PlayStation side who are like just waiting to find anything to tear this game down
To
as
bitch
well.
about.
So
Yeah,
I find it very
100%.
frustrating that you can't just enjoy a game these days. Like they always people are gonna find issues with everything. It does frustrate me, but I'm very excited for it. I'm hoping it's gonna be good. I'm just hoping it's not gonna be a cyberpunk situation. That's all I'm hoping for. Is it's not gonna be that bad. The fact that it's only coming to the current Xbox consoles and PC gives me hope, and they've given it an extra year of polish where they should have released it like a year and a half ago. That gives me hope as well, and also how much they rely on this game to do well. If it does badly, then this might even like just tank Xbox completely as a brand. Like this is a really important game for them, for sure.
Yeah.
Oof.
They've got to do it, and you think the lessons they've probably learned from like Halo's launch, right? Where
Yes.
obviously that was delayed and everything, and then that launched and wasn't what they wanted it to be. You'd imagine with the amount of hype that's been put on this, like the weight on Todd and the rest of Bethesda's shoulders for this to hit is huge. So he seems confident enough,
Yeah.
but wait and see. It's not long to go now, is it?
No, next month I've pre-ordered the special edition, so I get it the 1st of September, 5 days before launch. So I'm gonna book a week off work and then probably cancel my week off work if it sucks. But,
I hope it doesn't, man. I hope it's good.
I hope it's good.
I really hope it's good.
But the fact that we got Tears of the Kingdom, Starfield, and Spider-Man 2 coming out all in the same year is bloody insane. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of gaming to get through. I've managed to beat Tears of the Kingdom, so I could just get that's on the back burner now. I'm gonna try and get through Starfield before Christmas because that's when I'll be playing Spider-Man, and I'll get through Spider-Man. Then it's just a lot to get through. Oh, big games, lots of big games this year. But yeah, Starfield is my number one by far. I couldn't. I was struggling to come up with a number 2 and a number 3 on the list for a while because it's like, yeah, Starfield's number 1. That's like not even a question. I was like, but what's 2 and 3? I just took me for ages to think. But number 1 is always Starfield for me. I've been very excited for this game, and I hope it don't suck. I really do. I said it's Skyrim in space, which is like that's like my dream game. That sounds like the perfect game for me because I love space and I love Skyrim. So it's like Skyrim in space. Totally sold on it.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I'll be listening intently on your podcast, and hopefully you come out of it like, yeah, best game ever, best thing since sliced bread. But
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. Do you have any thoughts on Starfield, Phil? Or
Yeah, of course. I was just waiting for you to bring me in more than
anything. Yeah. Sorry,
you've sold me in that little introduction there, Lewis, our host of the show tonight. Thank you very much for bringing us in and talking about this game because I'm taking the hype. I'm running with this hype, and everything I've seen from this game, the visuals just look spectacular. I really hope, as we've just been talking, or you guys been talking, that it lives up to this hype. Because that's going to be the real test of time, isn't it, really? You can put out some really nice polished screenshots, you can put out some nice visuals, you can put out some nice videos, but once we get into the game, I think September 6th.
The official launch, yeah, September 6th, yeah.
That's the official launch. It's going to have to back that up then with some big balls. And yeah, it comes to PC, so I've got the option to actually play this one.
Ooh.
So I'm actually really excited for it. So yeah, potentially it's going to be on my list. I'll see what you have to say. I'll be listening intently to your episode after Starfield launches. See what you guys think about it. Hopefully, as you said, it's not a cyberpunk situation. Hopefully it is what we're hoping for with this game. But if I'm following the hype train, and I'm down for this game. I really am.
I mean, the one thing you can rely on with our podcast is I won't sugarcoat it. If the game is shit, I will tell you it's shit. We're gonna see, like, if it's a Redfall situation, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, and I really hope it is gonna be good. I'm just.
Lewis, you're the best when you're being negative. Like, I love your Twitter for that.
Yeah.
When you're really rinsing something, I enjoy all that. So keep it coming.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's not for Starfield.
Yeah, I hope not. And this year is insane. Like, as we've just covered our games of the games we're most anticipated for. There's already been like 6 months of amazing, or 8 months of amazing game. Well, we're in the 8th month. There's been 7 months and 2 days of really great games, and we're in the 8th month now. We still got loads to look forward to. Let us know in the comments below if there's anything you're looking forward to that we haven't mentioned. Is there any honourable mentions you guys have that we haven't mentioned as well, or have you covered it pretty much everything?
I've got like an odd couple of things, but we've gone a little while on these already. Sure. I think and need some big games, so I'm happy leaving a couple.
That's fair.
To time.
It's time. Oh, just dust in the wind. Just
let it fly by.
Appreciate you guys coming on. So that is the episode. That is X marks the box. I think this is 62, 60. I don't know. We're in the 60s. We're in there somewhere. We really appreciate you listening. As you can tell, Alex is not making this episode, so it is a bit more scattergun, which, that's my style. I like to go with it, so we're just going to stick with it. I really appreciate both you guys coming on. The invasion of the PSV Trust. If you guys should check out with PSV Trust, they talk about PlayStation games. Even if you don't have a PlayStation, it is a lot of fun. They talk about fighting hippos and stuff, and they get very drunk, and they talk about random stuff. and it's a lot of fun.
And we get you on from time to time as well,
Occasionally,
Lewis.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you
yeah.
are a Lewis fan, you want to check out those episodes specifically. You've only just recently been on as well. You should be
This is
plugging
true.
that one.
Oh yeah, I can't. Which episode was that?
Yeah.
That was episode 71.
71?
I think
71?
71. Yeah, we talk about the Activision deal, which I think you guys have heard a lot about the Activision deal on this channel. But if you wanted a second opinion and from a different outlook, you definitely check that out for sure. Really appreciate you guys coming on here. If you want to plug your stuff, Davey, do you want to plug your stuff first?
Sure, yeah. If you're a fan of survival horror games, then you can by all means come along and join the SSJ Davey YouTube channel. It is just survival horror, basically. Didn't start off that way, but that's what it's turned into, and that's what I'm rocking with at the moment. And with us being in the survival horror renaissance that we currently are in, I've got too many games to cover. So come on by and check it out. And it's new videos normally every fortnight or thereabouts. So come along. Just wrapped up the Dead Space series and moving on now to all the Resident Evil DLC. So I just played Lost in Nightmares, which was absolutely amazing. Just as good as I remembered it being when I played it with yourself, Phil. But come along to the YouTube channel, check it out. Reviews coming up very soon.
Spooky. Phil, would you like to plug your stuff? Like anything you want to plug?
Plug my stuff. Well, you've
Yeah.
already given us a glowing review for the podcast. I'm also on Twitter, so that's Twitter/Philip Hoy. Not Venom Phil on that one. I do stream from time to time, nothing crazy, just little bits here and there. But outside that, I don't have a YouTube channel to plug. I'm a developer if anyone needs a website. But outside that, I haven't really got anything to plug, unfortunately, Lewis. Just go and listen to the podcast. Best way to support us really is just go on our YouTube and subscribe, the same as it is with this fabulous show. So that's 2 subscribes for any new listeners. Subscribe to Lewis, subscribe to us. We won't let you down.
Appreciate
Love to
it.
have you.
Really appreciate you guys coming on. I think I mentioned this earlier that we've just recently hit 200 subscribers. So thank you, everyone who's subscribed. We've been growing quite fast, and I'm quite proud of our growth. Let's try and get the PS Trust guys up to 200 subscribers as well, and let's just keep the channels growing. Really appreciate that. If you enjoyed the episode, comment, like, subscribe, share it with your grandmother, your auntie, your dog, you know, anyone you know. Just share it. Just put it on in the background and let it play through. Trying to get as much views as possible. We really appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. And until next time, too sweet. Goodbye. So long. Au revoir. Bye bye now.
Too sweet.
Peace.
Stole my bit.
I know. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.